Otafest podcast listeners, and welcome to the first episode of 2021. I'm Jay.
It's one whole more.
And I'm here with Angelo.
Hello.
And Nancy.
Hello.
And we are back in the new year to celebrate with you and podcast with you.
Yes. One cursed year over. A new cursed year just begun.
Woo!
It could be blurst. You never know.
What's blurst?
Blessed and cursed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why can't it be
I would take blurst.
Kest. Because then it would be spelled like cess, and we all know cesspools are bad.
All right, fine. But yes.
Yeah, there's really only one way to mix bless and curse.
I hope everyone's had a good Christmas and a good New Year's and just a general good holiday season, even if you celebrate something different, because generally speaking, it's just a good time to chill out. You know, obviously not really see friends and family, but still just kind of take some time for yourself.
And rejuvenate.
Practice self-care.
My holiday season was exhausting.
That's not
Why
good.
was it so? I know you didn't actually have time off on the actual stat holidays. What did you end up doing? I know it was your birthday too, so happy belated birthday.
Yes.
So, yesterday and today are my first days off since Boxing Day.
Good.
Oof.
From about December 16th or so, to now, Boxing Day was my only real day off.
And you worked
And
hours
they were
on the day of
12-hour
Christmas.
shifts.
I mean, so did I. I just took the New
both
Year's
of
off.
you. So
Ugh,
how did
I
you
didn't
guys
even get New
rest?
Year's off.
Aww. How did you guys rest, relax, rejuvenate over
I
your
did not.
holiday? At all? Not
No.
even outside of work.
Not really.
So that's the thing.
Oof.
Like, you have to take
My
like
condolences.
consecutive days for it to be meaningful, because like a single
Yeah.
day in the middle of a block of work or a single
It's
like,
not enough.
Yeah, like if you get 6 days of work and in those 6 days you get 2 days off. Yes, they are days off. Yes, you are not up, but they are not truly days to recuperate and rejuvenate. They're just days where you're like, I'm gonna sit here and then I might do some laundry or something. Might take a nap.
You have all that other adulting stuff
then
to
I'm
worry
gonna-
about.
That's the thing.
But in
Like,
3
it's
hours,
really no
I'm
better
gonna
than
go to
a
actual
normal
bed,
weekend.
and then I'll wake up, and it's all gonna be the next day where I have to work.
Yeah.
yeah. So there wasn't really any time to do proper relaxing.
It's great. It's fine. It's great for folks who have the privilege of working from home, as some do. It's not nearly as bad, but for the people who don't, then we're just back to the regular old grindstone and having to leave home.
And this is why
and do other
weekends aren't
things.
enough. Because, like, a
No.
weekend is, it's 2 days off work, but you don't really get to accomplish a whole lot of rest and actual rejuvenating in
Some
2 days off.
countries-
You're too busy doing, like, laundry, like you said, or dishes,
Yeah.
or, like, making sure that your week
Like
is
none of
planned
those
out
take
or
that long, but like it's
No.
just the
That
fact that you have
said,
to do
like-
But
something.
it cuts in.
Yeah.
If you only have the weekend off, usually that means you're only working 8-hour days.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you figure like in 8 hours of sleep, you got 8 hours of work and then 8 hours of whatever the hell you need to do for the rest of it. So you actually do have some decent free time, even if it's only a couple of hours on an 8-hour schedule.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working 12 hours though, like you try to get 8 hours of sleep, you need some time for like getting ready to work, getting to work.
Eating.
You might only have like 2 hours or an hour and a half of real free time during that day.
Not to
Yep,
mention like
That's totally true.
prepping for work, because you don't want to buy lunch all the time. Like you should bring
Yep.
like
Good God, no.
things like
Absolutely
leftovers or
not.
prep lunch or
It's
snacks and
expensive.
stuff like that. And that means
expensive.
also
It's
means
too much
grocery
food if
shopping
you're always eating it.
and all
Yep.
those things. So it's like
Yep.
it's a whole myriad of tasks. That being
It's a
said,
myriad
I know
of adulting.
I know like some countries, primarily I think Scandinavian ones right now, are looking at implementing 4-day work weeks. So that'd be nice. If that
I
ever
heard
gets here in my
Microsoft was
lifetime.
doing that in Japan too.
Yeah.
And,
They absolutely should.
and it's come up as an experiment that has been vastly successful.
So I understand that like I am unique a little bit. Not very many adults work 12-hour shifts. I know Jay does. But
I mean,
having 4
technically,
days off
Nancy's
in a row
the
generally.
minority here.
She
Yeah,
is.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
I am the minority here, but I
But
also
we're
work
not
2 jobs.
representative. We're not representative of the majority
Yeah.
of adults.
I
of
also
working
work 2
adults.
jobs, so
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
She's an
Maybe
entrepreneur.
we're more representative than we thought.
And the second job didn't really take too much of a break over the holidays because over the last week that we took off, 2 weeks, sorry, that we took off, I've done voice acting interviews and singing.
Oh.
Nice.
So it's been busy, just not as busy because I don't have the other full-time job taking up the 8 hours every day.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. What did you do for your holidays, Nancy? Did you, other than like in the rest and relaxation sphere, as opposed to the hustle?
As opposed to the hustle.
Yeah.
For Christmas, we're not. Neither of us are very religious, particularly, and we don't celebrate Christmas in the way that most people probably do.
Mm-hmm.
We do have we make sure we have a nice dinner together, and every now and again gifts are exchanged, but it's not like this ceremonious thing.
Mm-hmm.
We had a really big fat steak dinner for Christmas. We made these huge steaks. We made a huge amount of fat mashed, creamy mashed potatoes. I fulfilled the obligatory amount of vegetables to go along with it all, but yeah, that was good. That fed us for 3 days.
Not bad at all.
Nope. And
we did
the same thing for New Year's.
Nice. For Christmas, our dinner was, those instead of buying a whole turkey because it's just way too much for us.
Oh, way too much.
We got one of those little turkey loafs.
I think I told you about those. I did that for Thanksgiving. I don't know if that stuck in your head at all, but
it exactly did.
They're worth it. Actually, they're not bad at all.
They were great.
So what was
I don't think I'll be buying a full
one?
turkey again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. What was stuffed in this one? Because it was a stuffed turkey breast, right?
We actually didn't get one of the stuffed ones.
Yeah,
Instead, we just got one of the solid ones.
Yeah.
And because my mom makes fantastic stuffing as it is.
I was gonna say
why replace something really good with something just pre-manufactured?
Store made.
Right.
I actually prefer homemade stuffing.
And then we just had some good cranberry sauce with it, some mashed potatoes, some sweet potatoes. Yeah. And then some Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts were the only vegetables then.
Nice.
I mean, that was fine because the plate was full enough.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't do anything like that too much. Thanksgiving, which is a while back now, but just remembering get the turkey loaf. They're actually during Christmases and Thanksgiving, they're actually on sale most of the time, and you actually get them for cheaper. Mm-hmm. And then you can get mashed potato stuffing. You can either get the box stuff or you can just make it your own. Doesn't matter. But I mean, it's so nice. It's so low key, and you don't have to deal with the amount
months worth of leftovers.
Leftovers are good to a certain extent. You have there's such a thing as too much of anything, right?
I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I will only make an actual bird of any kind, whether it's a duck, chicken, or a turkey, if I have a lot of people to share it with.
Right.
I can't justify it with just the two of us this holiday.
For Christmas, my mom dropped off some food for myself and Bayfar, and Bayfar's parents did the same for us. So we had some food that was made by them, and that was great. And the thing that's sort of annoying, and you guys I think offline, you guys pointed out that we're probably not going to do a get together duck dinner as we have traditionally in the past, but people have still been getting duck. They order duck takeout to their own house and stuff, and they've been taking pictures and sending them to me. So while there's a certain element of envy, I do appreciate it, and I think it's really sort of emblematic of
everybody
of
knows
tradition.
that you are the duck man.
I am the duck emperor.
The duck man.
Yes.
Jay the duck man.
It's kind of nice to see, and at the end of the day, people are sort of they've incorporated that part of New Year tradition in their own lives, as opposed to it's great to celebrate with everybody, but they've also just taken it for themselves, and I think that's great. And
I haven't definitely had a compliment.
Yes, I haven't had any Peking duck myself, but I have had just barbecue duck, which is also not a problem.
I had a good New Year's meal.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah?
In that Dio made some oxtail.
Oh, nice.
Ooh,
I still want to
Yes.
try. I would really love to try some one day. I want to see what.
Usually we make it like for Christmas or something,
Right,
but
right.
because there were only 3 of us and there was too much food as it was, it didn't make sense to make yet another thing
Right.
for
No, it
Christmas.
makes sense.
So with New Year's just like a week away, it's like, well, why not? Just save it for the next holiday. It's 1 week from now.
Yeah. It's like a braised oxtails kind of soup or stew kind
Exactly.
of thing, right? What do you guys serve it over?
It's like a stew. Rice.
It's rice, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Dio's family has a style of cooking rice that includes like coconut milk, salt beef, pigeon peas, some other stuff. And it is one of the best rices that I've ever had. It's just straight up is.
I need
There's a time and a place for like plain white rice. Like you can put anything on plain white rice and it's good. But if you jazz up the rice, it is just it's so good. It's perfect. It's wonderful.
No, that's good.
I have a New Year's thing where I try to make a new recipe that I found at some point during the last year that I didn't make the time to go and experiment with. So on New Year's Day, I made 2 loaves of garlic Parmesan and green onion bread.
Mike, send some.
Okay, I'll fax you some. Send me your fax number.
Yes, okay. Fax me the bread.
She'll fax every audience member. So. You'll do it.
Yes, please send fax numbers. No, it's a way of doing it that I've never tried, and what they've essentially done is they've layered it all in, and then they twist the bread so that it's distributed semi-evenly, so that when you have a slice of bread,
of those.
Yeah, it's one of those.
It is
really interesting because Parmesan is a pretty hard cheese. When you grate it, it still comes out as pretty like hard flakes, as opposed to what shredded cheddar is like, where it's pretty soft and kind of, noodly. In this case, I kind of screwed up and I made too many gaps in the bread because the Parmesan was so hard, but it melted so well that it was worth the trade-off of the difficulty of having to shape the bread. So it was good. Gets like a chef's kiss from me. I will continue making it throughout the year, and I will probably be sending some to people whenever I can.
Does it make your...
Oh my god, that sounds so good.
Like, not that it's technically a bad thing, but does it make your house smell like yeasty feet?
No, not at all.
Yeasty feet.
It smells more like garlic than anything
has
else.
like a feety smell, okay? Like, it's not... It absolutely
People have always told me that, and no, I just think that smells like Parmesan.
I think that's only if you've only ever had like the Kraft dehydrated Parmesan that they have in like pizza chain
I
places.
find that just doesn't have a smell.
Parm shares the exact same sort of like... They're in the same...
To be
I'm
fair,
not saying it's the same
Parm
strength.
that I get isn't...
I'm saying it's the same... It's in the same smell family.
Family of smells?
Yes.
I understand what you're getting at, because there are some things that do that. Like,
right.
I don't know if you've ever had, like, braised daikon, but daikon has a smell that's very different from how it tastes, and that smell sometimes is kind of poopy.
Oof.
And it's like, it's weird, but you get over it because when you eat it and it's fresh, it's fine. Yeah. But sometimes it does release kind of a weird smell if you keep it like, locked up in a container for too long.
If you have it in Chinese, like clay pot sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Like, you don't notice it as much because it's not on its own. There's there's other meats and other spices and stuff. So it doesn't cover up necessarily, but it's sort of like, it kind of mixes and melds into the whole overall smell.
But you notice it the most.
But if it's on its own,
you notice it the most if it's been like put away. Like if you've put away leftovers in the fridge.
Oh, there's never
and
leftovers.
It's sealed up. Once you open that seal, it's like, ooh, that smells weird, right. And then it goes away after that. But it's like, it's a build-up thing.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. The way that you guys are describing it, the only thing that I can really compare it to would be like a kettle sour beer.
Wouldn't know.
Where pro tip, kettle sours, if you ever drink one, if you ever come across one, drink it, don't smell it. Don't pour it into a glass, just drink it out of the can.
Drink it out of the bottle? Oh, it's one of those.
Yes, because they have the ability to taste amazing. But if you smell it, it will ruin it for you.
Good to know.
Having that said, there's so many good sour craft beers now that I haven't actually come across a kettle sour that I actually want.
Yeah.
But no, to answer your question, no, the house didn't smell that way.
Good.
It smelled more like the garlic than it did the cheese.
That's good.
Nice. Oh, that would be so good.
Looking
the house
forward,
basically smelled like garlic bread.
Right. I was gonna say, like, looking forward though, because obviously we've talked a lot about holiday related and just sort of a little retrospect. Is there anything you guys are planning on accomplishing, like maybe career-wise or personally, or like we're not talking resolutions. We're not being like, oh yeah, I'm losing 50 pounds by March or something. We're going like set a goal
that would be great.
to be like, this is something if things go well, and regardless of our current world environment, what are the things that you think you can accomplish this year?
So last year, I was biking to work about once or twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe over the course of the month, about 4 to 6 times, and I'd like to do more of that.
Sure.
I'd like to maybe do like twice as much biking to work. But I've also got my moped now, so maybe I can use the moped to go to work sometimes too. Just, on one hand, it lowers your carbon footprint, but more than that, it's a hell of a lot funner than driving.
So,
yeah,
other than that,
Angelo's going to live a two-wheeled life.
A two-wheeled life for you, Angelo.
Yeah.
2 less wheels. It's going to be great. Other than that, my plans for the year are very simple. Get vaxxed, then visit some family.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Definitely applies to me, the get vaxxed and go visit some family bits. So we moved last year, and this year we're going to have to figure out what to do with all the landscaping. So we have a variety of mulch everywhere, and mulch is just annoying because animals go digging in it. It doesn't stay down, so if we get like a particularly bad bout of rain or wind, it kind of blows around everywhere, so it doesn't even really stay. It just kind of slowly disappears over time. So we're going to have to figure out what to do with that if we want to, put anything in it, if we want plants, if we want shrubs, if we want to just get rid of all of our lawn and put xeriscaping in.
Right.
It's something we'll have to eventually figure out, but it's better to figure out what the end vision is first so you don't screw up and have to undo stuff partway through.
Wait, so like the whole lawn right now isn't even grass, it's just mulch?
We have grass. I don't mind it, but it is more maintenance that I would prefer. Like I actually feel personally affronted that I have to water it when it gets really hot in the summer.
Let's be honest, grass is dumb.
Yes, it is.
Let's just be
I
real.
love having green space. No,
Yeah.
I love having green space. I prefer greenery, but that's why I would rather get xeriscaping, because at least that stuff is native to this part of Alberta. At least it doesn't require you to go out there and baby it with, like daily waterings, that sort of thing.
Right.
And
what is that?
Xeriscaping is basically pulling all sorts of fairly this climate friendly,
like sturdy plants. Sometimes
very hardy
native,
plants, but
sometimes
like
not.
we have fairly extreme weather, because like within the year we swing 40 degrees up and down, right? So we need to find plants that are quite native to the area, that know how to survive here, that don't require a horrible amount of watering throughout the year, like things that naturally survive without human intervention.
Right.
So like the idea is, instead of having like a patch of grass, it's like almost a native plant garden.
Yes.
For your front yard.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And then you don't have to mow it. Then you don't have to fertilize it.
You do have to prune it.
All that other bad stuff.
You do have to weed and prune.
You do.
But not,
Weeding is kind of unavoidable.
Yeah.
Well, that just sounds like IRL Animal Crossing.
But like it's like, while you can argue like, yeah, with the lawn you can just like run the lawnmower over it and it's not like that much maintenance, but it's like, who uses their front lawn?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I may as well make it something that's actually nice to look at.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And there's a little bit of discussion about putting up like either a small fence or putting up hedges. I'm not a huge fan of hedges because you have to actually maintain those. You have to like keep them trim into a certain shape every now and again. Yeah, and like while they are nice and they are a green version of a fence, you have to really maintain those, and I'd kind of rather not. Plus, you can't see through them. If I'm going to have a nice looking front yard, I'd at least be able to see it from the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Gaze upon my works and despair.
Gaze through my cheap chain link fence. No, I'm kidding. It'll probably be one of those like kind of like a Victorian black wrought iron fence, but obviously not wrought iron because that
cash
rusts.
Money. That's
expensive.
I'll be getting some kind of I don't know, vinyl. Are those like artificial fences that aren't made out of wood? Are those vinyl?
Yeah, but those.
I'm not sure.
I don't know about those because those are just a plastic fence, basically.
Probably aluminum is what I'd go for, but again, aluminum's kind of primo.
You'll figure it out
probably
when you
worth
get there.
It. Basically. So that's kind of this is something I need to think about this year.
How about you, Jay?
Mine are pretty simple. I want to advance in my career a little bit. I've faced some roadblocks regarding that, so that's been annoying over the past over the past year, but I'm going to commit to doing something like that. And all the things that entails. I want to also get the vaccine for the good life living, so I can either do one of two things. Well, maybe both, hopefully. One of which is, if all things kind of go well for everybody, I do mean everybody, because it can't just be a me thing. I would like to see if I could travel by the end of the year. If I can't travel by the end of the year, that's fine, but maybe locally, if our numbers are good enough and things are more stable, I would like to host a big ass party for all the parties that we lost last year.
Right.
Imagine
retroactive partying.
Yes.
Last year, I intended to go to SakuraCon. Last year, I intended to go to Japan. Part of me wanted to make a trip home just to see how the family was doing.
Right.
Imagine if this year I took all the money that was earmarked for that and just fucking partied.
I mean, I took all the money that I saved from not traveling last year and built a computer with it. But
honestly, yeah, I spent the money that was earmarked for travel.
Yeah, but I will have more money earmarked for travel this year. And like knowing that planning-wise, there's nothing to plan for until probably November at the earliest. That's a lot of time to save over these next few months, or not even next few months, majority of the year. I'm hoping to plan some travel by either November or December. We'll see. You know what? Like I'm not going to be irresponsible about it. I think anyone who knows me knows that it's just like it's a little bit of wishful thinking. But if it doesn't work out, then there's always next year. You know, like but it would be like if that could work, that would be great. I'd like to go back to Japan as well. I'd like to go in the winter.
Same.
So I'm hoping again sometime November to maybe March-ish times. I would like to go there and really expand some of my horizons and see some new things, hopefully.
If I can't travel by November, I'm just going to every 3 days, assuming the city at least is open by then,
right.
It absolutely should be. Every 3 days or so, 2 or 3 times a week, just go to some new restaurant.
Right.
Do that.
And bring some friends along.
Do local travel.
Bring some friends along.
Yeah.
And invest in the local economy. I try to invest in the local economy, and I live in an area where it's fairly easy to do so. But
yeah, you're very lucky.
Jesus Christ, there's so much cool stuff around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think about sort of where I live relative to everything, and it's not even just because of the area where I live, but specifically where I live is actually just super convenient.
It is. It's amazing.
And it's weird. It's 2 or 3 more blocks north or south or east or west is kind of less. Well, okay, maybe not west. Going west would be just as convenient, but in 3 blocks in any other direction is kind of weird because it gets less convenient. But it's been good. But yeah, I totally agree. Seeing people, small get-togethers, going out with people, again, food, or even going to just do I don't know. I wouldn't mind going to the zoo or something. Just something that kind of gets people out.
Yeah, going to the zoo would be great.
Would be nice. Just spend a day out.
The problem with going to the zoo is that to my understanding, the timeline for the rollout of the vaccine.
Yeah, I know.
The best months for the zoo aren't going to really be an option.
No.
Yeah, Yeah, I wanted to go to the zoo a couple of times last year because they had
time slot stuff.
Organized like limited settings where it was like come and do sort of like a locked room or like a treasure hunty thingy, and it was like that's a great idea. Those tickets all sold out so fast.
And you know, like good on them for making the best of a crap situation. It's not like they're running out of money, but obviously they could use the support as well. And it would just be something nice, like to just sort of be able to go out without doing too much. Oh, it would be sort of nice to go to Banff too.
Yeah, I miss going to Banff. We
actually
went to
one
Lake
thing
Louise
that never shut down was hiking.
I mean, yeah, hiking is hiking, but I mean, like there were some periods of time where there were so many people out in the mountains, and it wasn't exactly like people social distancing as they should have. So
yeah, that's true.
You know.
Like I went to Lake Louise briefly, and there were so many people.
Yeah,
kind of terrifying.
One of the best parts about hiking is going back to like Banff or Canmore afterwards and just like hanging out in the town after
and having ice
cream. So that's not something you can do.
Not exactly related, but like in the same vein, somebody shared pictures with me of West Edmonton Mall and the water park just being ghost town empty, and it's like it's kind of serene but also super weird because like it's obviously like it's built like an entertainment park where, you know, everything's sort of gaudily colored and like, you know, sort of, you know what I mean? But it was just completely empty, and the water was still in there. They didn't drain the water. It was just like the water was just still, and there was just nobody in there. And I was like, I would kind of want to go, but we haven't been in years. I think the last time we went, like Angelo, I think you were part of the last group that we went to, and that was like a solid, I don't know, 5-6 years maybe ago.
I don't think I've ever actually gone to the water park in the West End.
That's not true at all. I don't think that's true.
I don't think I have.
You have.
I have seen it, and I have been within the vicinity of the big windows. I don't think I've ever been inside it.
You should go.
I think I've only gone to the West Edmonton Mall with my uncle and my cousin.
Really? You never came
before I even moved to this province?
Like when we did like Athon runs?
I don't think I did.
Oh, okay. My bad then. My bad.
Like as far as like Animathon proper, the only times I've gone to it were Taste of Animathon, day trips with MJ and Aiko. Once with Dio. And then there was once with Animathon proper where Dio and I stayed in the dorms there.
Okay. It's my bad. It was just that like we had so many people. Like there was legitimately like groups of like
there was the time we went to Sylvan Lake.
20 to 30 of us would be at the water park at West Edmonton Park. You know, the day before like Animathon, for example. So I just sort of like I swear you would have been part of those groups, but I guess it was just different
I think
times.
what you're thinking of is the water slide.
No, I remember Sylvan Lake quite well, but we also didn't do Sylvan Lake more than like twice ever. So
I only went there once.
And I think it shut down like years ago.
Yeah, it's shut down now. Feels bad.
Going back there, I guess. But yeah, okay, my bad. The memory's getting fuzzier and fuzzier every moment.
The future is now, old man.
Okay, you can have it. I've seen the present. You can have the future.
Yeah.
You can have it. I don't want it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
True. I'll take the past. Let me be 8 again. I don't mind. A time before cell phones.
Simpler time when we didn't have to. Yeah. Time before cell phones. Time before we had to worry about being grown-ups.
To be 8 again. Right. The 56K modem was just invented.
Ugh.
Floppy disks were still the main method of transferring data.
Yeah.
Yes.
Websites still didn't use anything more than table-based layouts.
True.
It was so cool.
What a time to be alive.
I was so cool when I got my first 3-inch floppy versus the 5-inch floppies that I had. It was so cool.
Oh my god.
I know. I was like, ooh, they're so small now.
I got internet because my brother was in comp sci at SAIT, so I had internet when I was about 11, which was pretty, like, I would say that was still, like, we were in the top percentage of people having internet at the time, I think, in a sense, you know? Like, I don't think people got internet that quickly as a whole. Like, it was, the adoption was sort of fast once people realized its potential, but, like, in terms of actually having it,
Mm-hmm.
Probably not so much.
We had internet fairly early on, to the point where we actually had a second phone line installed.
Yeah,
so that we could be actively using the internet while still having the phone work.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd be taking up the entire phone line just being on the internet. And if someone picked up to try and dial out without realizing it, they'd interrupt your connection, and then...
And now that I'm thinking about it...
I had it as early as 9.
I was using what I would consider these archaic technologies right up until, like, high school. Right. Like, it wasn't until grade 11 or maybe even 12 that we got DSL instead of dial-up. Right. And it wasn't until, again, grade 11 or 12, I was still using floppy disks for, like, transferring files that I was working on from, like, work to
you're a little,
home.
Yeah, you're a little bit older than me, so I didn't have to use floppy disks that much. But, like...
I was actually talking to a friend about this the other night. Like, this was... CDs. I graduated high school in 2006. For context, it wasn't until, like, the second 2 years of high school, like 11 and 12, where USB drives were even an option.
Right.
I was burning CDs up until about grade 10, which would have been 2005 or so for me.
Like, that's the thing. I could burn a disc at home, and then I could use the data at school, but then I wouldn't have any way to bring the data home.
Yeah.
That's why I had to use floppy drives.
I remember through all of junior high, I burned so many discs. Just, like, mostly...
Like, there were 2 or 3 computers in the school.
No.
Zip drives?
Zip drives.
I never used one, thank God.
I never used one either, but that was how my computer teacher at school, like in, I don't know, like high school, that's how he backed up everybody's stuff off the server.
I don't think I know what a zip drive is. I'm looking at it now.
It looks like a really thick mini floppy.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now.
Like
I feel
almost like an external compact flash reader.
I feel like we had one, or I've seen them. I just never used it. So it's more like I recognize what it looks like.
Flash is a bad analogy.
I think honestly I've seen it, and I think I've just thought it was for floppies. But there were also ones that did floppy disks anyways. Because I'm looking at a product that says 3 drives in 1. So it had hard drive capability, it had floppy drive capability, and zip drive capability.
Wow, that's fucked up.
Anyways, back to 2021.
One last thing that I want to do in 2021. Right. And by that I mean one thing I don't want to do at all. I'm actually, like, very happy with where my computer is at, and I don't want to upgrade anything about it.
Except?
I don't want to buy
but
no new parts.
No new parts. No new Frankenstein parts.
And I want to keep my wallet. I want to fatten my wallet. I don't want to spend my money on computer parts. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. I'm in the same. I'm in the same boat. I've bought the computer. I know. I get it. I'm in the same boat. This computer, barring failure of parts, should last me a good 5 years. Probably.
Oh my god! More than that.
Yeah, but then there's a personal part where it's like,
well,
if this computer belonged to my mother, it would last her 20 years. But because it lasts, because it is my computer, it'll last me 5. Before I'll feel the...
Even if I was in your situation, like with a 3090, I would feel like after 2 years, I'd be like, yeah, but the new one, though.
But the new one, though.
But yeah.
And it doesn't even matter about numbers or performance. It'd be like, yeah, but the
big upgrade will be seeing how ARM processors will be. But anyway, I don't want to get too much into that. Something that's actually fun. I didn't mention over the course of the holiday, actually, during the new year, I had one of my friends, my streaming friends, put on a charity stream, marathoned 16 hours of Metal Gear Solid 1 through 4, and I helped him out with it. Bayfar helped out, a few other people helped out. I stuck with him to the very end, which was 3 a.m. a couple days ago, which was great. Honestly, raised raised over $1,000 Canadian for Doctors Without Borders, so that's a really good start. And on that same
Nice.
note, something fun to look forward to just right now is AGDQ is happening as of today, recording today.
Now.
They're only on their
Right
like second day,
now.
and by the time the podcast episode comes out on Wednesday, it'll be not even halfway through the whole event. So I hope people have something to look forward to, and if you feel like donating, donate. If you can't, then at least enjoy and maybe spread the word. It's always a fun event. I always look forward to it. It's something just like it's a feel good, fun nerd event that we can all enjoy safely inside. It's a good start.
Yeah.
There's a couple of races I'm looking forward to. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to look. I haven't looked at the schedule in depth, but I have seen some stuff that I'm interested in. Like there's a Donkey Kong Country race actually I know coming up, and I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, I remember that from a few years
so
ago.
There's one,
when I watched
think there's
it.
one. It's actually I think today, so I think it's later on tonight. I might hop on and try and catch that one live. Most of the time, I just catch the VODs because I can't be arsed to follow everything absolutely live on the schedule. It's like so much content, but still looking forward to it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's for me, HGQ in the past has been something that I turn on in the background, and then just every now and then I pay attention to it. But for the most part, it's like background noise.
And I totally understand that. Like, I don't think that's an uncommon way to enjoy it. There's just, like I said, there's just so much going on at once. And if you're not necessarily a speedrun community, I can absolutely understand where you wouldn't be like, I need to follow every moment of this. But yeah.
For me, it's more like games that I'm actually familiar with, and this is probably true for almost everyone. Games that I'm actually familiar with are the most interesting ones to speedrun.
Yes.
Because if there's one particularly part of the game that you were like banging your head against for so long, or that like was really like specifically hard for you, and then these guys just
crush it.
Either they skip it completely, or they execute it perfectly, or
you realize
it's
the
just
true
like
extent of your plebness.
It's like I'm a gamer and I had a hard time with this. These demigods just showed me what for.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, there's some funny stuff. There's a game called Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City. That's supposed to be.
Oh gosh.
There's Golden Sun's on there. I love Golden Sun.
Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City.
Yeah.
Is this a real game that a company made for money, or is this like an indie game?
Yeah, no, it probably is, because Michael Jordan's name is on there for one thing. You think that man wouldn't charge you to use his name, or you'd be deadly wrong.
I mean, it could be in a similar situation as what was it? Tales of Game Studios presents Jeff Boyardee's Charles Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden.
So that's the thing I was going to tell you. Is that, there's just Charles Barkley game. Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden is apparently an amazing JRPG.
Yes.
I've never played it. I just heard about it recently, and I would actually look out for it and see if I could play it.
A while ago, it got a sequel, if I remember correctly.
I don't want that. I don't need that.
No, you do, though. Michael Jordan is one of the main antagonists in the game. It's fantastic.
What, really?
Yes.
Damn.
And the story of the game is that the world is basically destroyed after Charles Barkley performed
Chaos Dunk.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. It's got some, like, because of those sort of the utilization of those quote unquote mechanics, it sounds really cheesy, but I've heard it's actually a really good JRPG. So you just have to look past that.
Like, I've only actually been able to put about 2 or 3 hours into the game before being pulled away, and I was like getting really into it, but then it's just like I have to go do something else. I was expecting like a short game, not something that was like an actual epic game that I wanted to play. I need to save this for the right moment, the right time.
I'm sorry.
Maybe
I'm
that time is
looking through
2021.
the schedule now.
Maybe
There's
is.
so many cool games. Some of them are. It's always cool to see a familiar game because then you know what it takes to run through it, beat it, whatever, and you have expectations.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also nice to learn about other games that like you've never heard of before, So
yeah,
gonna check that out.
Speaking of finishing games, though, I will probably make it a goal to finish all of Cyberpunk because I'm really taking my time. Like I'm not really blitzing through it. I'm reading a lot of the lore that you pick up. I'm
as one does.
Yeah, and I'm trying really, really hard to do things stealthily, but I'm just really not good at stealth.
Are you melee stealth? Because I'm hack stealth, which is, I think, decidedly easy.
I'm trying the hack route.
Yes.
Actually, this is a good question for you, but you can answer it for me later. Is there a way for you to respec everything?
I don't think so. I haven't come across anything. Like, I've tried not to look up very much about the game as a whole. I've said that a few times. I'm trying not to look up any walkthroughs. I did look up a skill builder because I did not want to, because I don't think that there is a respec system. I wanted to make sure that I'm putting points and skills that synergize and are useful to me. So that's probably the one big concession I've made. Other than that, which isn't really a concession, it's really just planning ahead. It's not the same because you can open up the game from the very beginning and look at the skill set and what's available to you. It's just I wanted to lay it out for myself so I knew what kind of order I wanted to do things in. It would be nice to have a way to respec, but I can understand why. Most games like Skyrim and stuff like that don't have ways to respec to my knowledge. So I think it's just it's a standard of the genre that most of the time you can't.
Which is fine. It just sort of makes mistakes harder to backpedal on.
Right, but I don't think there's anything. It's hard to argue that you can make a major mistake. I don't think there's such a thing as a critical failure of a build. I think you can do almost anything and not mess up too badly, but you'll just have to realign your play style to fit a altered skill set, for example. But it doesn't basically. If for some reason you're at the very beginning you're I'm gonna put a lot into crafting, for example, and it's well, it turns out you're not getting a lot of components to craft with. Well, I guess you better start focusing on putting some stuff, getting the stuff you need to craft so that you can make your crafting skill useful to create those better weapons and armors. And if that's the way you're going to do it, but you're not exactly a silent guy or you're a big brawler or whatever. But I think there's a lot of ways to play the game, which is nice. But
yeah, definitely.
How far are you in now?
I am not very far.
Okay.
I will definitely tell you that much. I am not very far.
Are you past Act 1?
And a lot of it is because is Act 1 before the splash screen? Is that considered Act 1?
Act 1 is it lets you know when you're in Act 2, for example.
It actually says Act 1 and Act 2?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I might not be done Act 1 then.
Have you...
Anyway, like I said, I'm taking my sweet time.
Okay.
I think I mentioned before that I had hurt my hand.
Right.
So it's really hard to play controller games right now.
Oh, I see. I play keyboard and mouse, I think.
I've noticed that using a mouse is usually easier, but the other night there was a lot of pretty heavy-handed right side of the controller button mashing,
right.
And that was not so great. Plus I should probably find a different key to bind to push to talk, because right now it's the back button on my mouse, and holding that down for extended periods of time to talk to people is actually kind of not nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
I'm sure you'll figure that out, but it's
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not as far as I thought I would be at this point. Not because I'm not interested. I'm just waiting to figure out what the next. I'm doing the whole thing where I'm clearing all side quests before I finish the next story thing, which is a task. Let me tell you.
I bet.
But it's been pretty good. I'm just taking my time through it, so I'm not making story progress, but I'm making personal investment in the game progress. So whatever that's worth. And Angelo's dropped the game. He's like, I wish I could have returned it, but I can't.
Aww.
Yeah, I'll play it eventually.
And if you don't, that's fine too. You know, there's a lot of games out there, man. Like,
I know.
Like we talked about this last podcast. I don't know what next games are really coming. Well, I do and I don't, but like on the whole, there's nothing that's going to be coming up like as big as Cyberpunk is in the next year or two. I think because we would have heard about it by now. Like people would have really started building that hype engine by now. But because of that, like you know, it's easy.
I mean, there's many games where they're trying to start building the hype engine.
But people are also...
And people are like, yeah, okay, but it's like 5 years from now, or you haven't told us anything in like
and I don't
2 years.
I don't want to be hurt again.
So we don't even care.
I don't want to be hurt again.
Well, I mean, off the top of my head, there's the next Final Fantasy that's been announced. There's Elder Scrolls 6 that's been announced. Like, these games, they're supposedly being worked on, but we don't really have enough information to care yet.
And we're maybe in a post-caring society right now.
Post-caring?
I think we are.
I think we're in a little bit of a burnout zone for getting hype, which I think is a good thing.
People want to be hype about something. They want to be able to look forward to something.
But again, we've been hurt recently, and we won't be hurt again for a little while.
Give it like a month.
All right, we'll talk about it in a month. In the meantime, I guess we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you everyone for joining us on our New Year's episode, and I hope everyone has good times ahead. You know, whatever that might mean for you. It's been a hell of a ride so far, but I think there is more of a light at the end of the tunnel than there has been in months. So it's been nice. Anyone got anything else to add?
Happy New Year.
Yes, that also.
Happy new potential.
New year, same you, but take care of yourself. That's all.
Exactly.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See you next time.